Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. I had to think about that. So, I'm going to be honest, this episode didn't really give me much. Um, Except for the Brooke scenes, which I gotta sit here and say, um, this woman is killing it. Okay. When she broke down, and by the way, she did sit there and tell Rich that she drank. It, she really kind of went around the bend a couple of times, but when she finally did sit there and tell Riz that she drank and she started crying and stuff like that, like I felt that, you know? So I thought that was a really good scene. And after a while, Rich was like, alright, so did Deacon have something to do with it? I mean, clearly, every time he's around, something bad just happens. Um, and that's when Hope got there. And she had to sit there and tell Hope that she was drinking. And, Rich was like, well, before you walked in, I had to sit there and ask, was the cause of this, what's the cause of this Red? I mean, what's the cause of this Deacon? And Hope was like, really? It's like, yeah, well, I gotta ask him. Every time something bad happens, Deacon's usually involved. I'm like, damn, bro. Um, but she was like, no, this is on me. I did it. And, it is what it is. And that pretty much ended that scene. Um, Now, throughout the rest of this episode, there's one point where Taylor's talking to Sheila, and I swear she must have repeated the same things like 3 times. You have to sit there and work on yourself. You have to sit there and put in the work. If you want to get better, you want people to sit there and um, be able to trust you and stuff like that. You're gonna have to be the one. After a while, it was like, my imagination did Taylor like repeat herself like 2 or 3 times. I mean, there was one point where it almost seemed like Sheila was asking Taylor to be her psychiatrist, and she's like, "No, we're not doing that. We got too much history. That's not happening." Um, yeah, she just kept saying the same thing over and over again, and Sheila just kept sitting there saying, "Oh well, I want to be better for my son and my grandchildren, and blah 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 blah." Now there was one point where she did bring up Brooke for some odd reason. I don't know why she said that. She was like, "You're so nice and you're so giving and so forgiving, unlike Brooke, unlike that mean Brooke." And Taylor was like, you didn't do anything to her, right? Because in order for this whole redemption thing, whatever you want to call it, to work, you can't really be doing that to people." Now she did actually call out her obsessive behavior towards Ben and be like, they got boundaries. You gotta kind of accept that. So I thought that was interesting. Steffi, Ben, and Hope had a conversation about Brooklyn. Brooke, damn it, Brooke. You got Brooke, you got Brooklyn. When I start watching Y&R, I feel like at some point I'm gonna run into triples. Um, you know what? Question: if you watch all three, let me know what is a name that's currently right now that all four soap operas have. Like one name. Because so far I'm sitting there thinking Victor, and I can only think of two. So if there's another Victor, let me know. I already know there's two Finns now. So yeah. Speaking of Brooke, before I get off track, Brooke, Finn, and Hope. They were talking about Brooke. I mean, not Brooke. Hope, Ben, and Steffi were talking about Brooke, and it seemed as though Steffi was getting very defensive when Hope was sitting there talking about mother, talking about, oh, there was something off, something that happened at New Year's Eve. Um, and, Steffi was like, well, my dad tried to get there as soon as he could. He couldn't really do anything. I was like, Steffi, calm down. No one's sitting there blaming your dad for the reason why whatever is off with Brooke. Like, no one was blaming your dad. Like, why are you coming at her sideways. Like, even after she calmed down and like she left, Steffi just had, maybe it's just her face, but Steffi just had that look like, hey, Jesus, okay. Um, and she talked to Finn a little bit about Deacon and Sheila before he went off to work, and then talked to Taylor. Um, Nothing really in particular happened between those two. And to be honest, I felt as though Steffi and Finn almost seemed like what was the point of them being in this episode? I mean, I really could not think of a reason. I guess Hope needed to talk to somebody else before she went back home and talked to, um, her mom and found out about the whole drinking thing. But before then, it was like, I actually tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie. When Hope walked in there, the way she walked out was almost like she regretted walking in there. I mean, the only thing she said was, my mom is kind of off because of, I mean, she did sit there and say that she said that, Brooke missed her husband or whatever, but, Steffi still came at her like hard for little to no reason. But then again, given their history, I mean, this could just be another Thursday, to be honest. So, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's about it. It seemed like it was a very, I mean, I know it was like 19 minutes long or 18 minutes long, depending on where you're watching or whatever, but it just felt like really not a lot happened. I mean, the central story just seemed like it was more around Brooke, which was great because it was a great scene. Um, Rich being understanding, but he's only going to be understanding to a certain point when he finds out the real reason. He finds out about the whole Deacon thing. So I hope he keeps that same energy. Yeah, I feel like that's about it. Yep, I feel like that's about it. So, I feel so off. I mean, I was doing my general hospital review, and I know I was pissed off about a certain part in the episode. But then it's like, I just felt off. I felt off all this morning. And I was going to sit there and do another review on the Salem movie, the Days of Our Lives Salem movie. I just feel kind of off. It's not like I feel sick, but I don't feel 100% for some odd reason. And it was off and on all day today. So I'm probably just gonna wind up going to sleep and probably wind up doing that review tomorrow. Which is why I'm just like, where's my outro at? Anyway, I think that's about it. So if I forgot anything, please write down in the comment section below. I know I'm trying to break myself out of that habit, but go after that. So yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.